Hi everyone, this is Marianne, and I'm here today to show you two journals that I have made, both using the Tsunami Rose Birds, Bees, and Peonies kit. Peonies, 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 depending where you're from. I've heard it said all three different ways by people who come from different areas of the country. So first I have to apologize for my hands. I've been working with lots of inks and paints and adhesives for the past 4 or 5 days. I've been scrapping non-stop, trying to get some projects finished, and you know, any adhesive with acetone eats your fingernail polish right off, and ink stain and paints get all over, and I just couldn't wait to get these recorded and show you, so I didn't want to wait till I had time to do my fingernails and, you know, give myself a manicure. So I am going to show you these. Both of these were made using the Birds, Bees, and Peonies kit. So let's start with this one. And first I want to show you the fringe on this. I'm hoping that I'm getting in close enough that you can see what this is like. This fringe that's on the front here, it is so cool. It's a gold and a cream, an ivory, gold and an ivory, and they're just such fun tassels. Each one has a bead on it, and I just love those. My mom's visiting me, and she came in and saw it and said, "Oh, if you make me a journal, I want those on my journal. They are so pretty." Okay, so this one, the cover says My Private Diary. I will tell you, if you watch through the end of both of these journals, I will let you in on a little secret. So let's not let our beads get caught here. These turned out so chunky, way chunkier than I expected, but this kit was so fun to work with that as I got going, I just didn't want to stop and just kept going and going and going. There, maybe that's a better picture of these little bead. They're actually glass beads. These are not plastic. You can hear them on this glass. They're glass beads on this fringe. It was a quite expensive fringe, but well worth it to put on this. So inside the front cover, we have a large tuck spot with some large cards. These are just all journal cards to journal on the back. Hoping you can see there and this kit, there's some things in black and white, some things in sepia, some things in color. It's just so much fun. You're gonna love it. Over here, this is a paper sack. Gotta find a way to keep this open so that you can see, because it is so full. This is a paper sack, and it's a flat sack, folded up the bottom to make a pocket, and then covered it with part of the paper from the Tsunami Rose kit. And in the back, or inside the bag actually, it's a large journal card and a tag with corrugated cardboard. Whoops, just dropped one right down in my little goodie box. And oh, just some small honey for sale. This one is focusing on the bees, if you can tell. Some deposit slips of vintage. There's lots of great vintage stuff in here, and lots of just little ephemera pieces there. So good places to write. This dyed page here is good writing space with a cute little bow. Make sure am I in frame? I'm in frame. Cute little bow paper clip. Hopefully you can see that. And there's a tag and a couple of journaling cards pinned over here. There's a whole sheet of these cute little cards with the little boys on a couple of them and little girls on most of them. Get that pin back on there. Love that little bow paper clip. Some more good writing space. This is 3 mini envelopes with a nice tuck spot behind, and here's some vintage receipts. from Tsunami Rose behind, but hidden, there's so many hidden things in here. This tiny little envelope is full of little ephemera. I'm not going to show you because I want to leave some secrets so that whoever gets this journal will be able to open it up and have some surprises. Surprises are always fun. And this little envelope is full of ephemera. Both of those are stuffed. That was about all I could get into those. Okay, next page. We have a pocket, an L-shaped pocket lined with lace. That's a vintage lace. And inside, some more journaling cards. And these are some of the black and white and sepia ones. They're so pretty. And I wanted to stick lots of extras in here. So if you wanted to use them for another project, you could. If you wanted to journal on them, you could. But there's some fun ones there. Another good writing space here on the back of a graph sheet. Always fun to write. I love these because you can write this way or you can write that way. We always go against the grain, right? As junk journalists. So you don't have to write the way the lines go. Although sometimes I turn mine around and write this way. Just depends how I feel that day. There's some more writing space. And this is part of the Tsunami Rose Birds, Bees, and Peonies kit. This is as well. This page, make sure I get both sides out here. This page is sprayed with Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. And there's a wraparound. This one has a wraparound pocket with 4 tuck spots. So there's the behind tuck spot. This is music paper. And then there's the inside tuck spot. And there's some tags in here, some black and white sepia tags, and some colored tags. And on the other side, same thing in the back. There's both black and white and color vintage receipts. This is from Pepsi-Cola Beverages. And some really pretty floral tags, some black and white and some color in there. And I did not attach that so that if you wanted to move it around, add a bunch of different stuff, you could. So I love these fat. They're shorter than most paper clips and fatter than wider this way. I like those. They hold a lot. Okay, next page is our exclamation point paper clip. Hold that upside down. There it is. And it is holding a tag from the vintage receipts again, a couple of the floral tags, and a black and white vintage receipt with forget-me-nots on it. And this is left purposefully for writing space. I wanted to, there's just so much stuff to put in this that I wanted to leave plenty of writing space. So I've made a number of pages that are like this, that give you a little bit of good dyed background, but don't occupy the whole page or aren't so predominant that you can't write on it. And this is perfect for writing. Hopefully you can see that design a little bit, but perfect for writing over the top of that design for journaling. And I did not attach a lot of these onto these pages because I wanted to leave that extra writing space. On the other side is a part of a page from Tsunami Rose, and that can be written on as well. So here's a nice page out of a gardening book. And this gardening book happened to have the peony in it right here. Tree peony or peony. And it talks all about the peony right there. So if you're interested in learning about peonies, here's another dyed page so that you can have plenty of room to write on top of it and have an artistic background to your writing. And this is an envelope with a oversized paper clip, an envelope that is full of ephemera and cards and tags that can be written on, that can be used. There's some old mercantile green stamps. They're not S&H, but maybe they are. No, these are merchants green stamps. I didn't think so, because I have some S&H as well, and they're slightly different. Some old ads. There's lots of old ads throughout here. Library card. Let me just run through a few of these things so you can see what's in there. Some miniature pages of writing. Love this black and white. Or actually, this one's sepia. I just think that's so pretty, those flowers. Floral tags in color. And there's, I don't know, 6 or 8. I want to say that there's 8, maybe 10 of these, all different color backgrounds, different flowers on them. So they're sprinkled throughout. And another of the vintage receipts there. And all of those are different as well. There's so many different things to use in this kit. The birds, bees, and peonies. Okay, let's put that one back on. And on the other side is a page with some good writing space. So I've got some lines on there, along with a very muted background so that you can see your writing nice and easily. And some dyed lace doily over here, and writing space as well. And here's a page on the bee. You could write right over that if you want to, but I think that's so cute. I want to write on him. On this side is a triple pocket full of tags and ephemera and cards. Get all of those out there. Okay, so this is a triple pocket. The top is not open, so it's not a quad pocket, but it's a triple pocket. 1, 2, 3. And these are some vintage ads for beekeeper supplies and honey. Hopefully you can see those. Okay, all right, and you can see how here's another color, another type of flower on there, another one of the black and white roses that's so pretty. Just thought that was pretty with those yellow roses popping up there. There's a sepia one. This always reminds me of artichoke. If you've ever grown artichoke, maybe, oh, it is. I looked at the flowers. I didn't ever looked at the leaves, and I look at those leaves. That is an artichoke plant. So did you know that we love to grow artichoke? Did you know that if you don't pick the artichoke, it will eventually open up? And you can see it starting to open up there. And these are sepia, but if you were to see it in color, when it opens up, it has the most beautiful purple flower inside. Kind of looks like a thistle, but it's much more pretty, and it is so, so beautiful. I was always tempted just to not pick the artichokes, and I don't pick them until we actually want to eat them. So in case we don't get to them, they can open up and make those beautiful lavender flowers. I've gotten some gorgeous photos from those. This is a really pretty one too. There's another one of those vintage receipts. Yeah, artichoke flowers, really pretty, really, really pretty. There's another page from the kit, and another good writing page there. Again, lots of little spaces that you could write in if you want to. This has got lots of good old vintage ads on it. And here is another writing page. You can see the bee and the honeycomb with some lines. You can write all the way down that page. Okay, there's another good writing page with the muted background of vintage receipts, and a music page. And over here, this one is dyed with a clock with the butterfly and the thyme and the honeycomb. So you can write right over the top of that. That's a great writing page. This one has the cute little dog paper clip. And some more of these great tags and or cards. All are good for journaling in the back. More of the receipts. If you've noticed, you notice each one's a different color background. Each one has different flowers on it. Every one of them is different. She really did a great job in pulling all those together. Here's a hybrid tea rose with old vintage ad right next to it and behind it, and that one's in sepia. And there's the bee on the peony. So put that back on with the puppy dog. If you're a dog lover, I think I've got some cats somewhere too. I'm gonna have to use those in the next one. Oh, I'm always so cautious about putting these on. Don't want to rip a page for somebody. Another good, both journaling pages. This one has lines on it. This one does not, but you can see, hopefully you can see that design. That design is actually from the other side. Love the crinkle. Love the crinkle of this paper. This is sprayed with Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist with a rose stencil. And I love how I can spray it enough to get a good color over here and still have it look vintage and splotchy, but see through it enough to see the design, but yet the design isn't on this side. So this is a great writing page. Great writing on here. And then over here are 3 pockets, and all these 3 pockets are made of doilies, all 3 of them. And so they each have a tag with a ribbon, and then each one has another vintage tag, black and white, behind it. Each one is different. All 6 of these tags are different. Those are fun pockets to make, the doilies. And they're sprayed with Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist as well. Look at those. Okay. Oops, cut on there. Okay, don't want to shove it in. Okay, here's a vintage ad for the old sewing machines. This is a page out of a Sears Roebuck and Company catalog. I was looking for the date on it. It doesn't say it on there, but it is a replica. It is not the original page, but it is a really cool replica from Tsunami Rose out of the Sears Roebuck and Company catalog. Love these old sewing machines. I actually have one of these. I don't know that it's the exact same model or year, but it does have design on there, and it does have 3 drawers down each side. Oh, look at this. This is a Minnesota Model A. 3 drawer style is $14.65. 5 drawer style is $15. And 7 drawers is $15.45 as illustrated here. So let's see, there's 3, there's 6, and then there's 1 right here. That's how mine is. It's got 1 to pull out right there. So, wow. So that sewing machine originally cost $15.45. That blows my mind. Think about how much we pay for sewing machines these days. Oh, and it's so much fun. Okay, so I just had some fun on this page. This is a stamp, and I loved it because it had the dragonflies in it and the different kinds of flowers. And I took some fabric covered buttons and turned them into flowers. And this is washi tape down here with the lawn, the grass growing, and then just a little bit of distress ink up here to make the blue sky. But you can write right over this. This is actually stamped with vintage photo, so it's a soft enough color that if you wanted to write right over this page, you could. Or if you wanted to just, you know, make some notes here or there or in the sky, you know, feel free to do that. The other side has the lines over the muted, so it's definitely a writing page. And then this is a page out of a book about all kinds of animals, I guess I can say. And this page was a page I found insects on, and it talked a lot about bees. So here's our center page. I had so much fun with this. So this page talked about bees. You can see bees and wasps and stuff like that. We've got a bird over here watching over everybody, and all the pictures out of, this is a really old, you can tell by the coloring of it. I don't know if you can see it in there, but I didn't want to attach any paper clips or anything because I'm afraid that that would just tear. This is a really old book page. I can look up the year if whoever gets this is interested. But this little bird here has a little bird nest, and that bird nest is made out of thread and yeah, different kinds. I mean, there are different weights and textures of threads, types of, you know, things, threads and flosses that I've used to sew with. And then he's actually got some little eggs in his nest. Hopefully you can see that. No, okay. And then over here, see the honeycomb? Can you see that? Hopefully that metal is not having too much of a glare on it, but you can actually see this gold honeycomb all the way up and down here, and the butterfly. Now I will tell you that this, I'm sorry, I said butterfly, this is a bee, obviously. The bee and the ladybug are both glass beads. So you can see there is a hole there. You can probably see the hole up front too. These are glass beads, and I sewed these on with fishing line so that if you wanted to take these off, maybe maybe you don't like a chunky jewelry, you want it to lay a little flatter, because that does, you know, kind of keep that center open. Although I will tell you that the bee will fold to the side. He just goes right where you want him to go. But you could actually take the bee and the butterfly off if you didn't want to keep them on there. There's some flowers with the bees, and of course the butterfly's got to, or the ladybug has to have some flowers too. But yeah, if you wanted to use those as actual beads on something, you could definitely take those off and use them. And in the center here, there's a butterfly and a peony. And I left these tails extra long on purpose, and I left the tails on after tying them on because some people like long tails, some people don't, some people like short tails. But if you wanted to take these off and use them elsewhere and put something else on here, you'd have plenty of string to work with, and they're only tied in a square knot, so easy enough for you to do whatever you want to do with that. So that's our center page of this journal. Okay, and then there's the back page of the insect, back side of the insect page of the book. Okay, there's another of the muted pages out of Tsunami Rose that is lined to right with everything muted in the background. I left the butterflies there, and so I found this butterfly paper clip, which I thought was fun, and that holds a few more tags and cards and vintage receipts. Now these vintage receipts, you remember how they used to stick them over the two pokey things? And so those holes are there. Some of them I cut the holes and I turned them into actual tags. Others I decided to leave them. So if you wanted to just journal on them, or if you wanted to take them and do something different with them, they wouldn't already have holes in them. So there is a bunch that are turned into tags, and there is a bunch that are left as they come. Swoops, for you to do what you would like with. And here's the other side of our fabric covered button garden. Again, stamped the dragonflies, have the sky and the washi lawn and the fabric covered button flowers. And then here's the bottom half of that Sears Roebuck page with the sewing machine for sale. Wow, attachments are 75 cents extra. And it's guaranteed for 20 years. And it's sold on a 2-month free trial. Wow, that's pretty cool. You know what's cool is this little cover. this little case that goes over the top of the sewing machine there. Yeah, I had a Triddle sewing machine growing up too. Okay, birds, bees, and peonies. This is a good page. Lots of birds and bees and peonies. And here's the other side of that page that was sprayed with the glimmer mist. And this is a swirl paper clip and some this is sepia vintage flowers. Oh, there's another one of those. Little girls love those vintage girls. She did a great job. There's a whole sheet of these. I want to say there's like 12 on the page. It's really, really beautiful. Every one of them is different. Some more of the tags. So these tags, some of them you notice that I punched the holes in, turned them into tags, like these right here. But others I left and did not punch the holes, so you could choose what you wanted to do with those. And this little tag right here, hopefully you can see the feather. See that very delicate little feather, white feather right there? That came from my little chickie named Pearl. She donated that feather for this journal. Okay, so let's get that back on there. On the other side is good writing space, and the other side of the lined. Again, this we saw this before with the honeycomb and the clock, the time, the butterfly. You can write right over the top of that. It's meant to be very muted so that when you write on it, it will not distract at all from your handwriting, written word. Okay, and the other half of the music page. And this has some vintage ads and cards. It's a cool one, vintage ad. I've used this in a lot of different ways. You'll see another one coming up here, how I actually used it as a tuck spot. But I wanted to put some in here that are not used as tuck spots so that you could choose what you wanted to do with them. There's enough stuff here that you could take them out and make a whole nother journal. There is a lot of tags, a lot of tags, a lot of vintage ads, and a lot of cards. Okay, so the back of the music page, another muted page. There's a lot of the vintage ads, advertisements on this one with the lines over it for writing. Another writing page. This is cool. You can see a lot of the vintage ads that she's put together here. Old receipts, and oh, that's a nice vintage picture. It's just cool. She's done such a great job with all these. There's a really pretty peony right there. And love the color of that paper clip. Let's take that one off. Love that color. It matched with the peonies so well. And this one is dyed. You saw the other half with the lace doily on it, so you can write right over this. And this is an envelope with the bee on it, and the little what do you call this? Tuck enclosure says, "Come little bees, the flowers are getting your breakfast ready." I thought that was so cute. And 5 little bees there. And then very carefully open that, because this piece of paper that this pocket or envelope is made from is from a book. There's some music on here. Music for "Come Gather Around Me," Parnellitz. It's a traditional Irish air. Is from a book from the mid-1800s. And so it's very delicate paper. And so I actually put this picture of the bird up here to give this some strength, or this page would just tear up because it is so old, which is so cool. This one is stuffed with ephemera and vintage ads and cards, things like that. I'm not going to take that out. I'm going to leave that as another one of the sweet surprises for whoever gets the journal. I want them to have several places of surprise where they can open up and not know ahead of time what's in there. And it's just nice to have a surprise. It's like your birthday. Okay, this page has the bee prayer printed on there right by the picture of the bees. Thought that was appropriate place for it with the honeycomb background. And you can see the bee in the background on the prayer too. And then another lace dyed page, good for writing, with the subtle ads in the background and lines for writing. And on the other side of this is a mini envelope. And this one is made out of a lot of the vintage ads and receipts and things that she put together. Daisy put them together. Again, this one is stuffed with, give you a sneak peek there, vintage ads. And there's a bunch of different vintage ads in here for honey and for chocolate. I'm not going to show you anymore because this one's stuffed with those vintage ads as well. So another surprise spot for whoever this journal goes to live with. Here's the other side of that page out of the garden book that had the peonies in it. And here's some more of those vintage ads. And I love this, the diagrams of the of bird cages, different kinds of bird cages. So as we start to come up to spring, if you like to make a bird cage, there's some diagrams of different ones that you might like to try. Another writing page here. And on this side, this paper clip is a bow, has a bow on top. And this is the other half of the one that was sprayed with glimmer mist. One side was the blue and pink, and the other side is the pink with blue. And this one is a trifold for journaling space. And there may or may not be a surprise tucked in there when you get this journal as well. Can you tell I like surprises? I like people to get something they don't expect. It just is so much fun. I mean, if you're ordering the journal, then you know what you're getting, and that's, you know, you're happy with that. But then if you get something extra, something that you don't expect, that's just, I don't know, it's just fun. Just makes for a great day. So I always like to have something that somebody doesn't expect. So other half of a page with the vintage receipts, and both of those are, and some of the old ads. And this is actually a diagram for landscaping a backyard garden. Okay, another dyed page to journal on, the other half of the ledger paper. There it is. There's the other half of the full page, and this is the diagram. There's the stairs, there's the pool, and it shows where to put all the garden plots and things like that. Okay, on the back side of that is a double tuck pocket. Let me pull these out so you can see that. The peonies, and there's a pocket between the book page and the peonies, and then behind the book page. And it's got a little bit of liquid pearls around the outside in the same color as the peonies. And this one's got just some cards and ephemera to journal on. This one actually says journal on the top with the birds. I thought that was really pretty. Here's another one of the sepia cards. Gotta be careful with that because this book page is again way old, from the 1800s. And just a little, you know, too much pressure and then they can fall apart. So I tried to tear it in a good manner and attach it well so that, I mean, unless you really dig into it, it should be okay. So, and this one says Marine Biological Laboratory, Woods Hole Library. All these are good cards for journaling on the back. Another of the black and white roses and the vintage tags. Okay, see, we're starting to not be able to close here. Here's a good page for writing with the lines and the muted background of the old receipts, and another tag here. Again, didn't want to attach it because I want you to be able to have plenty of writing space there. And this one you can write right over the top of this, which is really awesome. Nice big bee and a bird there. And then the back page. And just before I went to turn on the video for this, I realized that there wasn't a pocket back here, and I really do want to have a pocket back here. So I'm going to add a pocket back here for you, which means it's going to need something tucked in the pocket. Okay, so this one is essentially the bee journal of the birds, bees, and peonies, because it emphasizes the bee, and it has the bee on the honeycomb in the centerfold. Okay, and then this is the bird side of the birds, bees, and peonies. And this is a very different fringe on the front, but I love it. It feels so cool and silky, and it's kind of a pink cream. It's not pink, it's definitely not cream, and this is ivory here, and you can see how it goes with that. It's kind of a shiny, oh, I don't even know what color to call it. It's like a rosy, milky ivory. Boy, yeah, bad description. Anyway, it's really pretty in real life. It's really pretty. Okay, inside this one, it starts out with a large pocket here, and to create, definition of create, to cause to come into being, to evolve from one's own thought or imagination. And I thought that was a perfect way to start a journal and be able to put down whatever you want in here out of your own imagination, your own thought, and create the story, create the life, create whatever it is you want. So here is just a journaling tag with this is the vintage lace that was in the bee journal. Sweet memories on the bottom, plenty of room to write, and this is part of a vintage ad that is in Tsunami Rose kit. So that's just a nice big journaling tag there. And this is really nice and sturdy so that you could stuff other stuff back there as well. So on the first page here, the Write Your Story, this is one of those vintage receipts with different flowers even, with a beautiful rose-colored lace belly band on it, and just some ephemera and tags tucked in it. This is a heart paper clip, and just paper clip together the black and white receipt tag from one of the vintage ads, and a little rose colored flip open bifold, I guess we'd call that. Bifold. Okay, and so this is a page done with the glimmer mist and the rose stencil like we saw in the other one. And then memories, you can write right on here with these nice lines. Okay, and this, I just love this. I did not ink around this. I just wanted to leave it as is. This is a vintage envelope, and I only found one of them. But I've been saving it for just the right project, and I thought with the bird and the butterfly it'd be perfect. I didn't want to stamp anything on it. I just didn't want to do anything to it because it was so pretty. You can see the coloring is just so soft and vintage. And this envelope is stuffed with ephemera and tags and cards as well. I'll give you a little bit of a peek in this one. This journal also has some of the same cards. I want to make sure that each journal had a lot of those basic ones. There's some vintage ledger. This one's sewn around it. And there's a few more things in here. Here's a little one that has a baby belly band on it. And there might be a few more things stuck in that envelope. And this is a page of vintage handwriting. And that is out of Tsunami Rose Kit. So you would get that if you go to tsunami-rose.com. I think it's .com. I'm going to put in the description, I'm going to put the link to her shop because this comes in it. There's just so many cool things. Okay, and here is a double tuck spot. Pull those out so that you can see this. Got the birds in the background, and this is another one of those really, really old pieces of paper. This one, I believe, is only from the 1900s. However, it was in, I don't know how it ended up being, maybe it just got weathered. I got it from an auction and estate sale, and maybe it just got weathered because it was, you know, just as brittle as some of my way old ones, but even though this is from the 1900s. So I just love the way it looked. It's an old postage stamp on there, Finland, butterflies and the laughter. So inside here is a large card to journal on, and this one has the peonies and it over the top of an old receipt. And that's a pretty picture, really pretty. And another one of those vintage receipts in there. And I really like this one. I really like this little, I don't know if it's the color or the way the three of them sit there with each other. I know they're all looking different places, kind of, sort of, but looks like it'd be the front of a magazine cover or something. Oh, it is. Pictorial Review, May 1924. Another Wilbur Daniel Steele story. Not Danielle Steele, Wilbur Daniel Steele story. 15 cents for that magazine. This is a miniature version of it. Lost at Sea, masterpiece of fiction, and many other features. So she's done a great job of finding some really pretty vintage things to use in here. So here's another lined page to write in. And this one also has a triple pocket. And let's see if you can see the little birds down here. And paradise on the bottom. And there's cards, illustrated miscellanies. You know, that's from an old ad or magazine. This is one of those old receipts. You know, these vintage receipts, I love how she put different flowers on top of each one of them. And they're all different color backgrounds. These might look like they're close, but they are not the same color. And even like in the blue, I think there's 4 different blues, but none of them are the same color blue, which was so cool. This one has some vintage lace on it with some not vintage pink border trim. That's ribbon on there. And there's one of them turned into a tag. There. I thought that was really pretty. Good place to just document a who, what, and where of a quick evening out or something. And I could jot some things down on the front as well. And another one of the vintage ads. They're so great. Write little notes on the back. Okay. Collection of the vintage ads. This side is a flip of just miscellaneous paper to write on. There's that vintage lace music page and some, I don't want to put creases in them so people can crease them where they want, but it's a variety of papers you can write right over the top of this color. Some vintage child's writing paper and I love these colors too, how that turned out. And a book page. And I turned the book page backwards because this happened to be the end of a chapter where it ended right here, but the back was blank. So by turning it over, then you kept that, and you could write on the back of that page. And then you also have the base page to write on as well. And this was a piece of cardstock that I had, and all of this over the top of it is a stamp. I don't know if that's going to show up. I really hope it does. And am I in frame there? But it's got music and roses and all kinds of vintagey stuff, and that's all on that one stamp. It's just really cool. I can't even remember where I got the stamp or whose it is. There's some S&H Green stamps. Grew up with those. And some other vintage ads there. And here's a book page pocket with a tag. And you saw part of this in the other journal as a large writing card. And this is an oversized tag so that you can have room to write on the back. You can also write right on this page. I purposely didn't want to cover the whole page because these pages that are dyed like this are just amazing to write on. And some more of those, some have punched holes and some don't, so that you can choose. Sometimes I don't punch the holes, and I take a piece of ribbon and fold it in half, put it over here, this, and then staple it. And that's a really cool vintage look as well. This is the collage of the vintage ads. And on this side, there's a butterfly paper clip. And again, page to write on, the feathers, and an oversized card for good writing space. And here's 3 of those adorable little babies. Love the flowers too. Just a great job with all these flowers. Daisy Collins at Tsunami Rose does a really great job with florals. If you look at her flowers, they're all just so pretty. And I like to have some paper clips that stick out like that so I can find them. And those are the ones that I might use to mark the day that I'm on when I'm journaling, so that I can just open the book right to that page and not have to be searching for it. Here's a vintage postcard with canceled postage on it, and you can write on here. And here's a page out of a bird book. Since this one is focusing on birds, thought that was appropriate. And the other side of that page out of the bird book has all about feathers of different kinds of birds. And this is that stamp that I showed a minute ago that I had stamped on top of the cardstock. This is the stamp just by itself on just the plain copy paper. The butterflies down here, this is washi tape. But this is all just that stamp. And you can write on this. I would probably use a colored ink to write on this, so maybe a blue, which would show up against the black stamping there. But it's not dark enough that you can't write on it. And here's a cute bird paper clip. And another one of the vintage receipts turned into a tag. And this little girl is from one of the vintage ads. Just made a little card that you can write on the back. Thought this bird was so cute. And he fit in with the bird themed book. Okay, again, the muted background with all the vintage ads and receipts. Plenty of room to write there with the lines. And over here, another double tuck spot with the peonies and the hummingbird. I love hummingbirds. Hopefully you can see that without me having to lift that up. Love, love hummingbirds. There's a vintage ad with a hummingbird on it. And just a small tag with some of the matching paper. Sorry, that's just a small card. And then this one is a tag. You can see the part of the birds, bees, and peonies there. And this one is collaged. I don't know if you can see that, but these are different pieces from different parts of the kit. And I just thought it would be fun to collage it together and make a tag instead of wasting those pieces. So these are all extra pieces. I love that one that stayed whole like that big piece of advertisement there, and this one too. But so that is all collaged together to make a tag. And there's another, I don't remember how many blue ones we've come to by now, but hopefully you've been able to see on here that every single one of them is a different color blue. I love that. If you wanted to take them and use them in different projects, they don't all have to be the same color. And here is on cardstock that the illustrations of the birdhouses to make. Some of those look kind of fun to make. I actually asked my husband to make them, and then I'll paint them. Can you make me a birdhouse so I can have some fun painting, honey? He's really good about that. Okay, and there's Just Published. That's these are old. This is an old ledger paper here, and then we saw this on cardstock as a card to journal on earlier, but this is it on its collaged page. And then there's a page out of a garden book, and this one has the peony right there. There's the peony. Tells all about the peony on the back. Okay, so I showed you before this little white card with writing, and you can see here how I just inked the edge and then put the birds in the center and made a little corner tuck spot. And in that corner tuck spot are 3 of these vintage receipts, 2 colored, 1 black and white. You know, I'm going to take some of these black and white for myself, and I'm going to use my watercolor pencils and just do a little bit of coloring. And I love when it's black and white and then you've just got a little bit of pop of color on the flowers, but the whole thing isn't colored. So there's a lot of things you could do with those black and whites there. And then this is the hummingbird over here. In the last book you saw the bee prayer. This one's about the hummingbird, and it's posted on lace. On the back side is part of her collaged paper that's lined. It's very muted in the background so that you can write on here. And then this one is dyed so that you can write on there and remove. This one you can write front with the lines and back. And you can remove those to write on the actual page. Black and white tags. This may be the only tag in there that's not in her kit, but it just was the right color and it just fit, and I had made it along with something else, and I just wanted to stick it in, so you get it. I really like that tag. I don't know what it is about it. Birds, bees, and peonies. And this green page right here came out of a garden book, and it is a flip up corner, so there's room to write under there with the hummingbird. Okay, and this is a part of that one of those old vintage advertisements. This one's from 1914, and this was from their flower catalog. Those are really cool. And on this side is the other side. Is this the other side, or is this a new one? This one is a page out of the bird book. And so there's the woodpecker right there. It's the craziest thing. I've just been putting this together this week, and there's been a woodpecker on my maple tree right outside the back door walking around. And it's crazy because I've never seen him before, ever. And I was just standing out there watching the quail in the backyard because I love the quail. And there's these little sparrows flying around, and all of a sudden there was this little bird with this little color on top of his head. And I'm like, honey, what is that? and he starts hopping around. I saw his beak and I went, oh, it's a woodpecker. It's a woodpecker. He's not about 18 inches long. He was just small like that, but maybe he's a baby woodpecker. Okay, on this page is another one of the mini envelopes. This one is different than the one in the bee journal. Both of them came in the Tsunami Rose kit, so you would actually get both, but the print is different on each one of them. And this one's got a nice tuck here that says Brooks Brothers Clothing, Gentlemen's Furnished Goods. So that's an old ad. And this one is stuffed full of vintage ads as well. Different ones than you've seen throughout the book, and I'm not going to show you those either. Surprise, surprise for the new owner. Okay. Oh, and I didn't show you that cute little paper clip. It's a little bit different. You can put, if you put it with the little thing in front, it looks like one of those little geomarkers or an ice cream cone. And then the other side kind of looks like a peanut. All right, so the other side of that book page out of the bird book talks about the ruby-throated hummingbird. I love hummingbirds. And then here's another one of those pages that is dyed with the leaves so that you can journal right on there. And this one is just a tag and a card, mini library card type, and the little birds. I wanted to leave some of the things so that if you wanted to decorate other places in the book, you could. If you wanted to make tags and embellish them in your own way, you could. That you get a full journal's worth of stuff that is already done, but then you get enough additional things that you can make your own, or with your own ideas, imagination, creativity, if you want to. And if not, you could take them out and use them in a different project. This vintage ledger paper, you can write right on. And again, good writing space here. Okay, and this is a page out of a bird book as well that talks about anatomy and motion. And on the other side, it talks about feathers, the different feathers of the birds, and it talks about the wings and what they're for and all of that. So in the center here, there is 5 feathers donated from my chickies that are in my backyard, and I go out every day and I hand collect the feathers that they give me, and then I bring them in and I hand wash them. So all of these are hand gathered and hand washed, and they are from 5 different chickies. They're all my chickies. Doesn't matter how old they are, they're still my chickies. And so they are 5 different colors, so that if you wanted to take them to use them in another project, you could. In the center here is a brass feather, and the bird sitting on the swing. And again, those are both left with extra long tails, so that if you want to take them off, if you want to tie them shorter, whatever you want to do with them, you can do. And then there's a couple of tags washi over here. I love this vintage butterfly washi, so I had to stick that in a couple places. A nice journal card, and then this is a vintage library card with the hummingbird and the flowers, the floral on top of it. Okay. Oh, and these feathers are only attached. Let's see if we close that, if we can see. They're only attached at the top, so that if you wanted to take them off to use them, they are on there good and solid, but they are only attached there, so that if you do want to take it apart and use them, you will not destroy the feathers. And this is from Miss Speckle, and this is from Miss Moran, this is from Pearl, this one's from Dee, and this one, who's this one from? Oh, this one is from Chubby Speckle. I'll tell you more about Chubby Speckle on another day. Okay, on the other side here is a pocket with some, here's one of the sepia cards. Another one of the blue. I think this is the fourth one. It's a fourth different color, and it has different floral on it. And black and white on both of those. And this one has the nice lines so that you can write right on there. On the other side, dyed so that you can write right on there. And this one has an envelope out of one of those old pages with the canceled Paris, France stamp, and peonies as its closure. And there's a peony right there with a little bit of oh, what is it? Stickles, sparkly stickles on it, and the dandelions. Again, I put this up here to help give it some weight so that it doesn't just tear up, because this is a very, very old page with a poem called Crossways on there. And this one, again, is full of, what is this one? Cards. Oh, there's some old advertisements, some vintage ads, some cards and things. But that, again, is going to be a surprise pocket for a new owner. So let's stick that back on there. I like these big oversized paper clips. And here is our paper clip that is a question mark. You can see that. We had the exclamation point, and here's the question mark. And this, there's a doily dyed page, but it's done quite differently from the other one. So it's almost an inverse. Okay, black and white, old vintage ad. I'm sorry, that's a vintage receipt. And vintage receipt, I was going to make that one into a tag, and I decided just to leave the embellishment and let you decide if you wanted to leave it as a card or make it a tag. And so both of those are paper clipped on here with our question mark. Question mark, deciding what you want to do with it. Okay. Get that in there. I'm always so wary of the pages. Okay, and here's the bottom of the page from the bird book. And here's the top half of that ad from the seed catalog. We saw the bottom one, I think it was 1914. And here's the top half of that ad from the seed catalog. On the other side, this is a paper sack in my favorite color, blue. A paper sack with the bottom folded up to make a pocket. And so in the back are inside the sack, a couple of cards, birds, bees, and peonies on that one. And this one says my prayer journal. You could take that and use it as a piece of a prayer journal that you're making, or you can just journal on the back of it. And then on the front, there's a sepia card and another one of those cute little girls. They're so adorable. And I love that there's sepia, and then the roses are the red, just so pretty. And vintage ads there from Whitco. Okay, can write on this page with the lines there, and on the back here, this is just a flip out. You can write on the ledger, and then again write on the dyed page that's just dyed super light. Here's the other half of the page from the garden book that had the peonies in it. Talks about perennials. Lots of different ones if you like to learn about some other flowers as well. Okay. This is some of the vintage ads that she's put together in collage form that make complete pages that are really, really pretty. And on the other side is our triple bird pockets. Hopefully is that. I'm going to turn it. I just want to make sure that it's, maybe if I go this way, I'm hoping that I'm still in frame with all of those. Okay, triple bird pockets, 3 different birds. Imagine, create, and journal. And each one has a tag in it with the ribbon. And each one, just like the doily ones in the bee journal, oopsie, each one has a second tag behind it. So there's 2 in each one of these. Only the first one has the ribbons, so you can get them out. And these are super loose. I hate when these are tight and I cannot get the card out or the tag, and then I end up ripping it trying to get them out. But you saw how I got my finger down in there to get it out and didn't have any effect on it at all. You can see how loose these are, super loose, and I like that. It also allows you to be able to stick 2 or 3 tags or cards, or write something on a piece of paper and then fold it in thirds and stick it down in there to hide it as well. So that's a really fun page. And then on the other side, you've got plenty of journal space here with the lines. Okay, remember that stamp? I told you it was a full page stamp with the, here it is in a darker format, but you only see part of it with the roses and the music and the handwriting and all of that. And then there's 2 journal spots on there. And this is the other side of one of the pages from the bird book. And that one, those are cool pictures. I like this. Here's a different, it's almost like a maze paper clip. And as in the bee journal, this one, which I won't open it because it is the same in that it's a trifold to open to journal on. This one, it does have a saying inside there, though I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. It says, "Courage is being yourself every day in a world that expects you to be someone else." And take the ribbon off, open it in thirds. It's a trifold journal pocket or journal card or folder, whatever you want to call it. Again, the ledger paper, bottom half, and Daisy's collage of vintage ads, very muted in the background purposefully so that you have the lines to write on. The feathered paper, very muted so that you can write right over here. And here is the wraparound double pocket in this journal. Okay, it's got a little bit of liquid pearls on it there, and this one is birds. So there's cards and tags. There's some vintage ads. Bateman's Autumn Fashion, how fun. And Lancashire Golf Company. There's some vintage, oh, that looks like one of those old airline tags from way, way back when. Okay, and this is cute butterfly paper clip. Hopefully you can see that. We'll get the butterfly back on here. Onto our bird wraparound. And again, this is good writing space over here with the lines. And again, over here, dyed lightly so that you can write on that. A couple more of the vintage tags to do with as you please. Another lined page. You can see I could have left out a bunch of these pages and it may not have been so thick, but I really wanted to have plenty of writing space in here. Because of your smile, you make life beautiful. Plain page writing or drawing, and I also like a combination of the lined pages and the solid plain pages, because you might want to draw something on here. And I don't know, I like drawing on the plain pages, and I like writing on the lines, and I just like to have a combination of both. Okay, this one says, always believe something wonderful is about to happen. The butterfly, the hummingbird, some butterfly washi, and that is secured on there, so that you can journal right on there. And here is the bottom half of that vintage ad that Daisy put in her kit, which is such cool writing. I didn't want to put anything on it. You are welcome to. As you can see, there's plenty of extra tags and pockets and things that you could attach here if you want to, but I wanted to leave that writing visible for the new journal owner. Okay, this is a mini envelope with the birds on it. This is just lightly dyed so that you can write on here. And this is just only attached with washi tape, so that if you wanted to take it off completely, write on the whole page, you can. You could even flip it up right behind it, flip it back. You could take it off and paper clip it on, but it makes a good tuck spot back there for a couple more of those. And there's a couple of vintage ads stuck down inside of it. And there's plenty more room in there to add something else. Okay, here's the page that was sprayed with Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist. Love how that sparkles, and I love how it sounds. So pretty. And on the back, you can write on that one as well. And again, it wasn't until I was just ready to do this that I noticed that both of these didn't have a pocket in the back. I will add a pocket back there because I do want you to have a pocket in the back. I like to have a pocket on front and back that I can just stick things into that I want to keep. So those journals are both from Tsunami Rose Birds, Bees, and Peonies kit. Now, I have a question for you. As I was just getting ready to do this video, I thought, you know what? I think that I might take both of these and bind them together in one book binding and make them a hardbound journal, with making each one of these, instead of its own journal, making each one a signature. So here's my question to you, and I really, really need some input on this. Would you rather see these listed in my Etsy shop as two separate journals, or would you rather see them bound as one large Birds, Bees, and Peonies journal? Which would you rather see? I really would like some feedback on that, because I had a couple thoughts on it, and then I thought, you know, if it's going to somebody else, I kind of like to know what everybody else thinks. So please, please, if you can leave a comment below and just let me know, would you like to see it listed as two separate journals like this, or would you like to see them hardbound together as one large journal? I would really appreciate that. I really appreciate you joining me today. I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. I appreciate your support in getting my YouTube channel up and running. I appreciate your support in my Etsy shop. I'm just barely getting it up and running and getting the YouTube channel up and running. I have a whole list, a couple pages of tutorials and process videos and things that I want to record to get on YouTube. But it all takes time and editing, and I've got stacks of stuff that needs to go into my Etsy shop that I just don't have time to do it all. So I need to dedicate a day to just put things in Etsy, and then a day just to make videos back to back. But so many things that I want to share with you. I've so appreciated those who have put videos up before that I have watched and learned from. So I want to share the things that I have learned or tried, ideas that I've had, trial and error that have worked or not worked, and share those with you as well. So if you did like the video today, these journals, I would appreciate, one, your comment on selling them individually as journals in Etsy shop, or binding them together. 2, I would love if you would share the video with someone else who might be looking at journals like this. Visibility really helps for people to know whether they like some of the things I have and want to come join us on my YouTube channel. Would love if you would like the video, subscribe. You know, those things just really do help. And not just me. Anybody that you watch, that you like what they do or what they show, please share it. Please like their videos and please subscribe to them. But those likes and those shares really go a long way in helping artists to feel like it's worth their time in making more videos and putting more things up, and that, you know, that people do want to see them. So it really does help people to continue to do that. So I do it, you know, with people that I enjoy watching. I have my favorites. Everybody has their favorites. And then I like to just go scrolling through and finding people that I've never seen before, because there's always somebody new popping up just like me. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. I will see you on the next video, and have the rest of a great day. Bye-bye.